going on, MMA fans? I'm back to do my Strikeforce Heavy Artillery predictions taking place May 15th from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm going to go over the fights. I put this up on my Twitter, kind of like a last-minute situation. Got a piece of paper here, just to, I wrote down quick notes from my head on the piece of paper for the fights. Going to go over preliminary bout real quick, then talk about the main card. The preliminary fight I wanted to talk about that is intriguing. I don't believe we're going to get to see it. Vitor Shaolin Ribeiro taking on Lyle Beerbomb. Fancy Pants. Fancy Pants, if you don't know about him, was in prison. Actually got out, trained in MMA for a brief time before he got his first pro MMA fight. Well-rounded, good hands, good wrestling. I would say decent wrestling, decent grappler. His two most notable wins, one against Rafael Oliveira, and then also, I believe the other one was against Dwayne Bang Ludwig. I think it was a bulldog choke. So he's taking on Shaolin Ribeiro. Has looked very, very impressive as of late. He's only got 3 losses in his career against what I would consider top competition. Aoki, Jay-Z, and Hellboy Hansen. He's improved with his boxing. He's explosive, good wrestling, good grappler on the ground, BJJ black belt. I've got to go with Shaolin in this fight by probably a second-round submission. I just think that, this is going to be the toughest fight that Beerbomb has had up to this point. I think that, Ribeiro can, last, on the feet. He can last in the boxing, moving in and out of the pocket, being able to set up a takedown, get Beerbomb down, transition either to side control or to mount, and then look for a submission. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So I'm picking Shaolin, second-round submission. All right, bottom of the main card, Roger Gracie taking on Kevin Randleman. Gracie, a decorated BJJ black belt, has competed in the Mundials. He's competed in Abu Dhabi. He's very, very decorated. His boxing has really improved. I've been impressed with that in the last couple fights that I've seen him fight in. He's got what I would consider decent takedown defense and, decent cardio overall. Kevin Randleman, Division I wrestler. He's an MMA vet. Some of the issues that he's had throughout his career is boxing. While it's been, what I would say slightly improving over the years, it still isn't where it needs to be. His cardio was always, a question after the first round. And I think that in this fight, Kevin Randleman, while, he may try to keep this standing, I think Gracie, in this situation, I think may have the better boxing. And I think that what will happen is off of a mistake, either Randleman will clinch, inadvertently, not thinking. Gracie will try to either pull guard or it will get down to the ground. Gracie will pull a sub and win. And I think this is going to happen all within the first round. So I'm going to say Roger Gracie wins via a first-round submission. Next fight, Antoine Britt versus Rafael Fejao Cavalcante. Britt, good boxer, good wrestler, decent sub-defense, good cardio. Of course, was on The Ultimate Fighter. Fejao, BJJ black belt. Probably what I would consider very, very good leg kicks. And what I was going to say, what I consider probably some of the best keyword in MMA. He's got very, very good leg kicks. He's good in the clinch. He's got good hands. He's got power. That's one of the things, not only with his hands, but his knees as well. And he's good on the ground. He's a very, very good grappler, not only from the top, but the bottom. Fejao's had some problems. We saw that in the fight with Mike Kyle. He's kind of hit or miss. He's had cardio issues here and there. Britt could very well stand with him, try to stay away, use his boxing. He's got powerful hands. I just think that what will happen more than likely is Fejao's going to be motivated for this fight. I think he's going to come in with a technical game plan, using leg kicks. I think that's going to be a very, very tough thing for Britt to handle. Maybe, picking apart his legs, slowing down his mobility. I think Fejao, at some points of this fight, may or probably will get taken down. He'll get back to his feet, start working the leg kicks again, and then he'll catch Britt. At some point, it said late second, early third, off of a counter with an exchange, and stop Britt with via a late second round TKO. So that is my pick. All right, next fight, Ronaldo Jacare Souza taking on Joey Villasenor. Jacare Souza, if you're not familiar with him, of course, competed in Dream, has been, all over the world in grappling competitions, Abu Dhabi, Mundials. He's been in, multiple grappling tournaments. He's at least top 5 in the world, if not number 1, arguably, as far as grappling. He's a very good grappler in MMA. He's transitioned well. Very good wrestling. His boxing is improved. You know, he likes to mix things up now to set up takedowns. He's taking on Joey Villasenor. I don't know if I said this, but BJJ black belt as well for Jacare. Joey Villasenor, good boxer, good kickboxer, decent grappler, good cardio, training out of Jackson's. Looking at this fight, the pace will be dictated by Jacare. Depending on what he does in this fight, depends on, you know, where this fight is going to go. If Jacare chooses to stand, the fight will stay standing. If he chooses to take it down, I think he'll be able to take it down. And I think what Jacare is going to do is use his boxing, set up the takedowns, get it, you know, down to the ground, try to pass Villasenor's guard, get to a dominant position, look for a submission, and finish the fight. I think this will happen in the first round. I'm going to say Jacare probably gets either an armbar or Kimura, and wins the fight. So that's my pick. Ronaldo Jacare Souza via a first round submission. All right, on to the next fight, co-main event. Andrei Arlovski taking on Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Arlovski, we know what he's good at. Former UFC champion, heavyweight champion, good sambo, good striker. You know, has got very, very good hands. Some consider him to have some of the best boxing and mixed martial arts, up there with BJ Penn. You know, and a guy like KJ Noons, and that's arguable. Bigfoot Silva, powerful hands, decent ground game. He has had cardio issues here and there. You know, he's not, you know, completely sluggish on the ground. He can hold his own. Like I said, he is a decent grappler. You know, and the thing about him is, as a fight wears on, is where he runs into problems. He has, you know, had issues with his gas tank, but if he connects with either one of his hands, he's got power in both of them. To be honest, we've seen Arlovski after his losses, you know, most notably not only to Datsuk, but also to Hizzo, Sylvia. He gets tentative after he loses. I think we're going to see a similar situation here, on top of the fact that he's been training with Greg Jackson. I think he'll come in with a technical game plan. He's going to want to pick apart Silva on the outside, use the leg kicks, use the jab, use the good 1-2 combinations, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to pick apart Bigfoot for 3 rounds and win a UD. Silva's got a decent chin. You know, he was stopped, if I remember right. We were just talking about this. I was actually on the MMA Fanatics show not too long ago with Tim, EBW Returns, and AJ, Humble King 718. We were talking about how Pele actually gave him some problems. But I just think Arlovski is going to have, you know, the advantage there technically. I think he's going to stay on the outside. He's not going to be overly aggressive. If he catches Silva, he may move in for the kill, but I just see a technical game plan in this, and I see a unanimous decision, so that's my pick. All right, main event, Alistair Overeem taking on Brett Rogers for the Strikeforce heavyweight title. Alistair Overeem, we know what he's good at. You know, K1 level kickboxer. He's a very good kickboxer. You know, good hands. You know, he's more suited for heavyweight. He's cut down to light heavyweight in the past. He had cardio issues there. You know, he's fought in Dream. He's fought in Strikeforce, K1, Pride. You know, he's good on the ground with his submissions. He's good in the clinch, dangerous knees. If he connects with those, he can put you down. Brett Rogers, you know, coming off of the loss to Fedor, you know, he's improved not only with his hands, the brawling style, but we've seen, you know, the maturation of Brett Rogers, not only in the clinch with the knees, but also his wrestling. He's looked good with that over his last couple fights. We saw some of his wrestling showcased in the Fedor fight. I think that this fight will come down to arguably the clinch, who, you know, imposes their will there. As well as on the outside. I think Overeem all around, I think he's the more well-rounded fighter. I think he's got more tools to win the fight. But what I will say is Brett Rogers, if he can use his wrestling in this fight, which I think is an aspect that people are overlooking in the clinch, I think he can give Overeem problems. But I'm going to go with the pick that I think would happen 9 out of 10 times. I would have to pick Overeem. I think he'll be able to, you know, use his boxing, use his kickboxing, you know, be technical, pick apart Rogers, frustrate him. Rogers will try to clinch. Maybe he'll throw a knee in the clinch. Maybe use some dirty boxing on the inside. But I think he'll catch Rogers probably in the second round and finish him with a TKO. So that is my pick. Those are my picks for the Strikeforce Heavy Artillery event. Make sure that you check it out. I'll be back the night of or the night after for my review. And you guys, take it easy.